Hey guys, it's Gary Wong with GaryWongRealty.com again. People know me as the Christian Realtor. I'm also the author of the book on Vancouver real estate. I want to film a series of possession date horror stories. Horror! I've done a lot of deals working with buyers, and there are situations where my buyer buys the place and upon possession date, that's when they receive the keys, something unexpected occurs. So today I'm going to start off with a story with one of my clients. We bought a property in downtown. When we looked at it, it was really clean. Everything was not a problem. We wrote an offer, and the sellers were of Asian descent. So we thought, yeah, they're pretty clean. And we looked at the place. It's not too bad. We don't think that they're going to screw us over or anything like that. But on possession date, we noticed that they didn't clean the floors. They didn't clean the floors. The stove had a bunch of grease on it, and obviously my contract, the contract says that the place will be left in a clean and tidy state. However, the seller ignored that clause and just cleaned it. I would say they didn't even clean it. So obviously my buyer is pissed, tells me, and I go back to the listing agent and say, hey, what's going on? The listing agent went back to the seller, or so he says. He went back to the seller, and in the meantime my client is, got the moving truck there and has got to get it fixed. So I told my client, just get it cleaned and we will build the seller. So he was going to build the seller. See, he hired a cleaning lady, cleaned the place up, cost about $200, and he said the seller has to pay for this, otherwise I'm going to sue them. And obviously I had educated my client before that a lawsuit would be around $5,000 or a couple $1,000. It might not be worth it, but for him, my client says it's all about principle. I don't care about the cost. So I relayed the message to the listing agent. He said, don't worry about it, I'll cover this. He gave me a check for $200, made sure I signed and said I received the $200, gave that to my client, and he was happy. So the moral of the story, could we have drafted up the contract a little bit differently? Perhaps we could have used a holdback clause. A holdback clause is where in the contract it would say the buyer would hold back $500 or $1,000 or whatever fee into the lawyer's trust account, and we would not release that funds to the seller until the buyer walks through the place and sees that the condition is satisfactorily cleaned. However, why don't all contracts have the holdback clause? Sellers don't really like that. They look at the holdback clause and they said, what if the buyer just is incredibly picky and sees small dust or debris and doesn't release the funds? So most of the time, the sellers who see a holdback clause would typically cancel that out or cross it out. So it's not always in all the contracts. Although I love to use it, but sellers aren't receptive to that clause. And in a hot market, which it was back then, sellers would have likely just ignored it. So that's it for today. I'll go into more stories on the next video. Gary Wong with GaryWongRealty.com. And until next time, God bless you. Thanks guys for watching my video. Please subscribe and share with your friends. Email me if you have any more questions. Thank you.